Hair loss, two words that trigger questions, frustration, and even desperation. There are a lot of myths and misconceptions about the causes of hair loss and what can be done about it. So what's fact and what's fiction? Board-certified dermatologist Dr. Alex Khadavi of Revivogen is here with answers, and one of his clients and an old friend of mine, Barry Rogers. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
You look absolutely wonderful.
Well, so do you.
All right, thank you. Now, interestingly enough, we're going to hear your story in just a moment.
Yeah.
But doctor, this is something that you experienced firsthand. Let's talk about that.
Yes, when I was 19 years old, I was an undergraduate researcher at UCLA, and when everything was going so great for me, doing well in school, doing a lot of great research, I began to realize that I was losing my own hair. I was working out in the gym, and you know, with the gym, they have all those mirrors all around you, and I was going back to do my set. I see, well, lo and behold, I was like losing the hair on the back of my scalp.
Those mirrors.
It was horrible, but you know, it was kind of sad of me for like half an hour, and then when I went home, I realized, you know, my father and my uncle were home, and they were both bald. I said, wow, am I going to turn like my father, my uncle?
Your father,
yeah, I'm going to turn old like them. So I really had to do something about it. And luckily, during that time, we began to realize through a lot of scientific investigation in the 90s that hair loss is an inherited condition, and it can be reversed by reducing certain things within the hair follicles.
Okay, so your discovery led you to do something. Tell us about that.
Well, then I began to go back into the laboratory. I did a lot of research. I read a lot of books. I visited the experts in hair loss around the country, in Chicago, in New York, in San Francisco. And when we began to realize is that if we take natural ingredients and we're able to reverse the hormone byproduct that causes hair loss, DHT, we're able to regrow the hair back. And we're able to regrow it back to what it was 3 to 5 years ago. So if you're beginning to lose your hair, you start noticing the hair start becoming finer, start becoming thinner, like baby hairs or miniaturized hairs. You're able to take that hair back and make it longer and thicker and look younger while doing it.
Okay, so it's DHT. DHT causes hair loss?
Yeah, so 95% of all hair loss for both men and women is inherited.
Okay.
And if you inherit that gene, whether it comes from your mother or your father's side, you start overproducing this hormone called DHT.
And what exactly is DHT?
Well, we can see from this animation here, testosterone, which is produced in both males and females, gets converted by a little machine over there called 5-A or 5-alpha reductase, and that DHT builds on the base of the hair follicle. So as the hair sheds in the natural shed cycle, the hair gets replaced by finer and thinner hair.
I see.
We don't lose our hair overnight. Over time, those big terminal thick hairs start becoming finer and thinner. As you can see that the coverage on the scalp becomes thinner and thinner. So I developed a product, Revivogen. You can see the R over there. The Revivogen blocks the DHT from attaching to the hair follicle and blocks the formation of the DHT in the hair follicle.
So you're preventing it before it can begin?
Preventing it and allowing those hairs that have become thin over time to grow longer and thicker when DHT does not exist. So even if you're losing your hair, it's not just for preventing of hair loss. If you're using Revivogen while you're having hair loss, you're able to reverse your hair back because it creates an environment where DHT does not exist.
So if you do have a family history of it and you know that, hey, mom, dad have lost their hair, can you do this preventatively? You
could do it preventatively, especially if both your mother and your father have had hair loss. That means you have a much more predisposition of having hair loss. We don't recommend people necessarily to start it right away. They should start noticing that they have a little bit of thinning on their scalp. So look on their scalp, look if there's little baby hairs on their scalp. See if the coverage on the back of their scalp is not doing well. See if they're receding. Or for women, you know, for women is very underdiagnosed hair loss. They think just because they have thin hair, it's, you know, their mother has thin hair, their sister has thin hair, and they can't do anything about it. But they have female pattern hair loss, and they could do something about it.
I've got so many more questions for you, but I want to get to you, Barry, because I knew you when, and I can't believe you started experiencing hair loss, because you don't look any different than you did 10 years ago.
Well, aren't you sweet? Yeah, I was devastated. I'm kind of like the hair loss every guy. I was stressed out. I was devastated. Losing my hair caused me more stress. I was on the internet day and night trying to find, you know, the correct way to grow it back. I was told massaging my scalp 30 minutes a day. I was told to stand on my head. I never stood on my head, by the way. But then I found these guys. I found these guys in a magazine. I started reading your articles on the internet. I called these guys up. I asked lots of questions. They answered all my questions. I trusted them, and that went a long way.
Wow, wow. Amazing, amazing. You like I said, you don't look like you've aged at all. And sometimes hair loss makes us look a little bit older than what we actually are.